Okay, here we go. All right, guys, so welcome. Hold on. Okay, all right, so I get to talk about this, one of my favorite topics, and this is referrals, because I'm going to go ahead and tell you I was not very good at this in the very beginning, and that's why I had to do so many facial boxes and vendor booths, vendor opportunities, things like that, because I did not master the skill of getting the referrals. And so unfortunately, after several years of just keep going, I finally made myself remember to get the referrals. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. So referrals is a numbers game. And when you know your numbers, like I always say with anything about this business, you will never, ever be disappointed when you know your numbers. And that means, what are the odds when you text out all of these referrals? Right, hang on, guys, everybody's kind of coming in. When you text out your referrals, when you know your number and you text 20 people and you get one, you're not disappointed, because you know that's your odds. You guys have heard me and Marianne have this conversation before. She didn't think her odds were as good as mine, but they actually were exactly the same. And so with these referrals, you're booking from someone you know, or you're booking someone that you just met and someone that they know. So it kind of keeps in that family line of, you feel safe, you feel secure, because that was always very important to me, working with strangers. If I met somebody at a party and I just wasn't quite sure about them, I'm just going to be very honest, I didn't text their referrals. I put a big X. Like, I am not going to forget that you're not someone that I think is going to bring me quality people. You're not going to take me to a safe area. So that's first and foremost, that's the most important thing, is get to know these people, ask the questions, listen when you're at a skincare class, and, think, do I want to meet the people that that she's about to introduce me to? Also, your referral sheet, that is your booking. That is your booking opportunity, or that's your booking tool. Because as they, let me pull this out. When you're sitting down to close them at the end of the class, it's called that 3-point, that 3-point close. When you're sitting down, did you have a good time? You're going to sell them products. You're going to get that second appointment. You're going to book them for that second appointment. And you take their referral sheet, and that they say, I don't know anybody, and you got your green card, then yes, you do. You just gave me a list of your friends and family. Why don't you share this appointment with them, and, have them come and they get to experience it. You get free stuff. And, know your hostess. You got to be able to spin on a dime with your hostess. Your hostess credits, your hostess plan, whatever you want to call it. And so having this referral. So why did I used to forget this? Well, it's because they always had it on the back of our profile cards. And, I just didn't have my muscle memory down. And it wasn't until I got really, really organized with having everything in order. And as I was going through my classes, I was cleaning up. And so I would not get to my closing sheet until I was at my referral sheet. And that means I wasn't going to close this class until I played the referral game. We have a really great video that's on our YouTube. It's the referrals, and it tells you how to get referrals when you do a party versus how do you do a referral when it's just 1 or 2 people. It's different, and so you have to do that so that you don't ever leave an appointment without referrals. Like, when I go to leave an appointment, I have my money bag, and I have my money in there if they pay by check or cash. Back in the old days, it was always check or cash. And I put all my referrals in that bag. And I put my bag in the back of the car, and I have that money bag right there in my front seat, because that's like gold. This is the lifeline to your business. And tonight I'm going to give you the scripts that I use to text these referrals. Now, this referral game, if you don't have a whole bunch of copies of these, have them in your go bag. Your go bag always should be ready to go. That's why it's the go bag, and that you don't have to always pack and repack for every class. I say that because Unfortunately, for the first 7 years, I'm unorganized. I know I appear to be organized, but it's something that I have to work really, really hard on. I would repack and pack my bags because they would be a hot mess. And I don't know why it was so hard for me to grasp getting organized with my go bag, but it was 7 years of just all day getting everything organized and getting my systems. My systems really didn't come together for 7 years. I don't think it's going to take you that long to get your systems together. And here's why. Because I gave you good systems. I didn't have anybody that gave me good systems. Remember, my senior was in San Antonio, and my adopted director, she just ran her business differently, than what we do. And so I just didn't have the systems because I'm a visual learner. I have to see it and then go do it. And that's why it took me 1.5 years to sell a roll-up bag, because I had never seen sets being sold. At my adopted meeting, we just presented the miracle set. And that's what irritates me. Like when I did have adoptees, I don't adopt anybody out anymore because it was, these adopted directors would just phone it in on their weekly meetings. They would just show the guests, you would work so hard to get your guests there, and they would just show them the miracle set. I'm like, no, this product line has so many veins to it. And and you can make so much more money. People will spend it if you'll show them how to use it. And so, that's the backstory to why I'm such a freak about who trains my consultants. And so going back to your referrals, this is the referral game that we play, and it was so much easier for me to have this at my closing station versus having the profile card. The profile card only had 7 names. Well, this has 20. And so when somebody quickly fills out 7 names, you've missed out on 13 other names that they would have filled out during that referral game. And I know you've all seen me play the referral game with my song, Baby, I'm a Star, and people are racing. And so think about everything that you do in all your systems and ask yourself, am I limiting myself? With what you show? Are you limiting your sales because you're not showing the right products? Are you limiting how many referrals you get because you're not showing, you're not using the right referral sheet and playing the right games? And so these were some of the questions that I asked myself. And so that's why my systems are in place. And so go back and watch my referral video after this. And of course, this is going to be up there. You never leave an appointment without it. Your bookings are your lifeline to your business. Mary Kay Ash said those very words. Bookings are a lifeline to your business. And if you're attending our mini seminar, you're going to hear so much wonderful training that's meat and potatoes. And a lot of you may have already heard this from me, but it's good to hear another spin on it from other directors. So, have your referral sheet at your party. What are your systems for keeping track of your referral sheet? I'm going to show you the last 4-5 years. I have them in these binders. Okay, I have about 8 of these binders full of referral sheets, and these are all written on. These are, you can see, some have the whole pages filled out. Some have a couple. You can't hardly see that one. So that's another whole page. I have 7 of these binders, and that's just in the last 4 years. Why do I keep them? Because you never know. You just never throw them away, because to me, a referral list like this, that lead never goes cold. There are certain types of leads that will go cold in 2 weeks, such as your vendor booths and sometimes your facial boxes and things like that. But the script that we use doesn't go cold, and you can keep them for 4 years. Now, I know from experience that, and marketing strategists have said that most of your referral cold call bookings your bookings will come from your 5th and 6th point of contact. 80% comes from your 5th and 6th point of contact. I think it's 80. And or is it 60? I think it's 80. Anyway, I've never had to get past my second point of contact because I have so many referrals. And I think that's the way you will end up too, is going through that first point of contact, 1 out of 20. Your second point of contact is getting better. And then, like I said, I've never had to go to my third, fourth, fifth, and sixth point of contact because I would get all booked up and then I would get more leads and more leads. And so most of these have never gotten into the second, third, fourth, definitely not fifth and sixth point of contact. So this is exciting. This is how you keep your business going. And so that's the systems. That's the systems that Mary Kay put in place, that, you know, this business is a learned skill. It's not magic. It's mathematical. Everything is by numbers. All right, so here's the script that I use. And you have to create a little virtual business card that will, you have to attach your business card to every text. Now, if you're using Scipio, and I highly recommend it, we've already had the training on that. Tammy did that. I'm going to have Tammy talk again about Scipio. Scipio is going to make your life easier. Go ahead and get it now. I'm telling you, I'm loving it. I was old school for, 20 years using my phone and just copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. So you can only imagine if I had stopped being so hard-headed, because I was introduced to Scipio about 5 years ago. I said, no, I'm not going to tell you why. I didn't like having another number. I thought it would confuse everybody, but then I got another number anyway from my virtual assistant, and they can use that same number. So it all worked out. Now, here's the script. I'm going to say, hey, Marianne, Tammy Garmany said you're one of her dearest friends that's overworked. Or hey, Marianne, this is Michelle Byers with Mary Kay. Your friend Tammy Garmany said that you were overworked and underappreciated and that you deserved a pampering session. She's gifted you with the pampering session and a gift certificate. When is a good time for me to give you a call so we can chat about this experience that you've been gifted? And then love, our heart, kissy, kissy, Michelle. Here's why I need you to call her, okay? One, I need to know that they didn't write down the wrong number and you text some crazy person and you show up at somebody's house and it's not who you think it is. You need to have her on the phone. You need to listen to her, get a kind of a feel. She learns that you are legit. So now we're on the phone together, okay? Hey, Marianne. All right, so congratulations. Isn't Tammy sweet? I have a little conversation about how much I love Tammy, how much fun we had at the party. That builds that trust that I know somebody she knows. I'm not a total stranger. And I'll say, oh, doesn't Tammy have the sweetest boys? And, blah, blah, blah. Once again, kind of let her know that I know a little bit about Tammy, okay, even though I just met Tammy at the party. Now, let me tell you about this pampering experience that you've been gifted. Skincare treatment, microdermabrasion treatment, or facial peel. You get to choose. A eye treatment with a hydration patch. Match your foundation. We do your glamour. You learn how to do your eye shape. And then you get to spend your gift certificate on anything that you want. It's going to take about 45 minutes to an hour. I come to you, you come to me. These are the days I work. And then I give her my dates or evenings, mornings, whatever she wants. We go ahead and we set that date. I now know it is confirmed I have one face to do on this day. Now that I look legit, I talk about her skin tone, get that information, tell me if you're oily or dry. Now I'm being very professional. She understands this is going to be a very professional appointment. I'm building trust with her. Okay, so now, Marianne, if you want to invite a friend or two to share this appointment, I can give them the same skincare treatment, the same microderm or facial peel, whichever they want. I can match their foundation, do their glamour. They do not get a gift certificate like you get, but I can increase your gift certificate by $10 for each friend or family member over 18 that you invite. Do you have some other friends that you feel are overworked and underappreciated, and you can gift that to them just like Tammy gifted this to you? Yes, boom, now you have a party. That's how you do it. It's a stage, it's systems, it's building that relationship. These do not cancel. These do not cancel, because then you're going to coach the class. That's a whole nother video. And when you coach it the right way, it will hold, okay? This is all about building relationships. This entire business is about building relationships. Every single person in my unit, other than just a few people, I met through strangers. Remember, I didn't start with family and friends. It was all one stranger after the other. You could follow the veins, follow the family tree, and that's exactly how you're going to build this business. All right, so Marianne, I want you to, I'm going to put us back on gallery view, and I want you to share some of your tips on the referral script and following it. And then Tammy, I want you to talk a little bit more about Scipio too, okay? So I know you've got your hair wrapped up. You're probably going to kill me, but you can keep your, if you don't want to show your, I know. But Marianne, go ahead.
Okay, so in addition to, I highly recommend putting your people into Scipio, so that way it does the follow-up for you, especially if people aren't answering right away. But once that conversation engages and you're in the process of booking, one way that I help keep up with that, because sometimes you're in the middle of conversation, especially if you're texting, and then they forget or you forget, and life just happens. So I started implementing a booking journal, and basically I have their name, I have their phone number, and I make notes on, texted her or called her. And then when she that means message number 1, or voicemail number 1, text message number 1. Those are 2 touches that Michelle was talking about out of the 5 and 6. And then when she replies, I write replied. And then if we continue that conversation, wherever it ends off, like maybe she's getting back with me on a date, or, just wherever those pauses are, that way I don't forget when I'm mid-conversation, because once you start engaging in that conversation and booking them, even if you're using Scipio doesn't follow up with that. Or even if they said, no, not right now, this is a crazy week, I write that down. And then also, if I ask, can I follow, when is a good time next week to follow up with you? And she says, oh, Wednesday of next week. I write that down. And then I schedule it in my calendar as a reminder, like, call so-and-so. And so that way, when I go back through here, if I've missed anything, it's like, oh yeah, I was booking her and didn't finish, And so it really helps with my follow-up and follow through. And then with the referrals as well, if they said straight up no, like if we were in conversation, I just X'd it out. I think that was before I started using Scipio. It also, I made notes of if we're talking on the phone and I told them about, this is how much you're getting for a gift certificate, I wrote it down. So that way I wouldn't forget later. Cause if you're talking, there's no record of what you said. That way, if I changed it, if I really, really wanted to book this person and I give them a lot or whatever, or if I didn't know this person, maybe I didn't give them the same amount. Also, I wrote down the reasons why I was booking them or where they came from. So especially if I have a couple of different scripts going on, then I can remember why I was booking them. And so it also helps to go back through when you're like, I don't know what to say or who to book. This is a really great reminder. So this booking journal has been really great for me. And the other 2 things I would say, add quality name. Nope, that was it.
All right, so I want to give you guys, hang on, bear with me just a second. All right, so for those of you, who, like Marianne and I, we have to write down everything or else we forget. And if so for years I didn't have Scipio. And so what I did, I would just, on the sheets that I would send, I would just write T, and then T1 text first touch, T2 text second touch. When I would text them, so if you don't have Scipio, okay, I get it. You're a dinosaur, I'm a dinosaur, we get each other. You know, I would do the whole sheet. So like if I, like for example, this one is Henley Martin, okay? So I'm gonna do Henley's entire sheet, and everybody, I'm gonna go ahead and put in, first one is Faye. Hey Faye, this is Michelle Byers with Mary Kay. Henley Martin said, blah. Then the next one, I'll remove Faye's name and put Amber's name, and Henley Martin's name is still in there. And so for those of you who do not have Scipio, you're just going to stay on that same page, because that way you get that one done, you get rid of that name, you go to your next page. Next page is Sam. Okay, now you're going to do Sam's, and you're going to put, hey, so-and-so, Sam, last name, whatever. That's why I always, when I play this game, I get the last name of that guest. Because if you don't have to put the guest's first name, but you've got to put, you know, Henley Martin. Henley Martin said, you know, because they could say, well, who is this person? You know, what's her last name? Like, I don't know. You know, like, oh, you really don't know her. And so that's why I always get, those are little things that you've got to think of. When they give me this sheet back, if they didn't put their first name, last name, phone number, I give it back to them, because I got to have that. Okay, I don't need the guest's last name. I need the guest's first name and phone number. So you got it. Those are some very tips that are very important to know, that's going to help you when you're booking. Now, another thing, Marianne has her journals. I have always been a big fan of folders. So if you're on the BYOP group, I was going to send you my tracking journals, my tracking folders, and every month I would just get a folder, and this is who I was calling, these are the faces that I did, this is who I've got. This was old May parties. This was a couple years ago. My sales back here, unit club, I'm tracking new team members. You can do your folder, and it's per month, and then you can keep your sales tickets. So watch how I do this. So I bind my green cards. Okay, these are little binders from my old mortgage days. We use these like crazy. You just hole punch them. I love these, and they keep everything binded in. So now I have all my green cards for that month bonded in, and then that's the follow-up for the, you know, your opportunity or your future bookings too, when you play the green card game. There's lots of great ways to keep everything in front of you. And these are just cheap little file folders, and you put them in your calendar, and you can write on and make notes. Like Marianne says, you can make your booking notes. You get to figure out your form of organization, what works best for you. I know that over the years I have tried things, I've stopped things, I've tried it again. Marianne's journal works, my folders work for me. You get to figure it out, but have a place to put your referral sheets that you don't lose them, because you can go back and go back and go back when your date book has absolutely nothing on it, and you can rebook and go, you know, get to that 5th and 6th point of contact and make that 80% marketing, you know, strategy work for you. All right, until they say no. If they say, I'm not interested, you just mark them off your list, and you don't ever touch them again, ever. You know, they've asked you not to, you've got to obey that and honor that. But if they don't respond, you know, hey, just tell me you're not interested. I'll scratch you off and leave you alone. That's what I like about Scipio too. All right, Tammy, you want to talk about Scipio?
Yes. Okay. So just to kind of give you an idea, I failed tremendously at referrals because I sent out that first text and I failed to follow up. And so I did not book. Referrals did not work for me. So this last week I sent out, I set up some campaigns in Scipio I had some facial boxes and I had some referrals. So of course I sent out that first message. Well, we know people are on vacation right now. People are on vacation, people are busy. And so they're not necessarily seeing that first text. Or if they're like someone, me, when I'm very busy, I'll go back and look at it later. So between yesterday and today, I had the second follow-up on my facial boxes went out yesterday, and the second follow-up on my referrals went out today. In the last 2 days, I've had 9 responses. And so those are people that did not respond to that first message. And I was busy yesterday and today, so I didn't send those messages out. So it was great that Scipio did, and obviously caught them at a good time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another key thing to remember too, when you're putting in your messages in Scipio, when it goes to send out that second one, when you schedule your times, make sure it's at a good time that you think you'll catch them. And so out of the 9 responses, I booked 2 already. I've got 4 that have said, hey, I'm on vacation, or somebody said, hey, I'm on vacation, call me next week, or hey, can you give me a call Monday, or can you give me a call Tuesday? So I've added those to my calendar in my phone to remind me to call them at that time. Like I had 2 I had to call. They responded last night and says, hey, will you call me tomorrow afternoon? And so far I've got 2 booked. I've got 4 to follow up with. And yes, I did have 3 respond that they're not interested, which is great. In Scipio, well, it's not great that they're not interested, but in Scipio, the great thing that I found about that too is that I can turn off the text messages, so they're not going to receive any text messages whatsoever. I mean, not that they should unless I add them to another campaign, but if I was to accidentally add them to another campaign, they're not going to get a message. But at the same time, I put beside their name in Scipio, not interested. So if for some reason they're, referral on another person's referral sheet in Scipio, it's going to pop up and let me know that that person's already in there. So that's one great thing I love about Scipio too, is that it's going to store everyone you've contacted and that you've added in contacts, which is a lifesaver there too. But yeah, I mean, definitely, like I said, I failed tremendously because I wasn't following up, and Scipio's doing it for me. So it's definitely, it's been a blessing to me.
Yes, Marianne.
I want to mention something really quick about follow-ups because I know this sometimes can be a struggle. Sometimes you might be someone who mentally battles with feeling bad about following up with people. You might feel, oh, but I don't want to be too pushy, or I don't want to, bother them. I want you to think about your own experiences. For example, I remember when we had a surgery done at a hospital or whatever, and they called me like 2 days later and said, we wanted to know, how was your experience? And I was floored. I was blown away, like, holy cow, they actually cared. Like, I felt cared about, even though that was in a system. That person has no idea who I was or what I did or whatever. It was scheduled in her calendar of like, call all these patients today and ask them how was their experience, and I had just so much respect for them. And I learned that to ask that question, well, when is a good time? When would you like for me to follow up with you? Angeline taught me that one, and I was just like, that is so genius. When I heard her say that, that made me think, one, professional. I was like, she's so on it, she's not just giving up, she cares about this. And 2, it's like it took something off my plate. If I were receiving it as a customer, if someone else says, hey, I'm gonna remember for you, I'm not gonna make you remember, I'm not gonna make you do another phone call, I'm gonna take that on, I'm gonna follow up with you. So like all your doctor's visits now, they send those reminder text messages. That's follow up. And you guys probably love it that the doctors follow up with you and remind you. And so just know that when we do that, it is a service that helps people and they love it. So if you have that negative sentence, you need to erase it and say, no, I'm not being pushy. I am offering a service that they really appreciate. You have to flip the script.
And 2, and you guys all know, Marianne canceled her appointment with me like 3 times. If they cancel with you, but they reschedule, you have to, or they say, call me back in this many weeks, you've got to remember to follow up with that too, because what if I was not someone who was organized enough to remember to call her back? Like, how did I know? I'll have to go back and pull her sheet because I still have it. And I wrote out when to call her back. So you've got to have your systems in place, because, you've got to prepare for rain. You're out in the field, you're planting your seeds. You're planting your seeds because it's going to rain. You're booking and booking. You've got to have your systems in place because the appointments are going to come. And so be ready and have that organization to where you don't forget to follow up, because what if I'd forgotten? And, most of you on here would not even be here because Melissa, Kathy, and who is Kay? Is that right? I don't remember. Yeah, and so everybody, in the Ohio group, the Warner Robins group, they would not be here if I had not kept following up with Mary Ann, and then I taught her that skill. And you've got to know that everything is such a skill-based business, and you just got to, work the numbers and prepare for rain. Okay. All right. Any questions? I want to answer y'all's questions about Scipio or referrals or bookings.
What's
Any
a green
questions?
card?
Hmm?
What is a green card?
Oh, so good question. So green card is, along with the referral game, I have these little green cards. It's a little game I play because I have 3 games, 3 prizes to give away at every party. And it's the very last game that I play before I close the class. And when we did the mask, we talked about the opportunity. And then at this point, I talked to them about their second appointment. And everybody at the table is going to get a gift certificate at their second appointment. That's going to be glamour, matching your foundation, your eye shape, all that good stuff. They get to spend that gift certificate on anything they want. But if they want to share that appointment with friends, they can get free product. And so on the back of the green card that I'm about to pass around, you can say me or free. See? And she wrote me. Me or free. Me that means you just want me and you. And I'm going to come to you. I'm going to love on you and pick your colors. But if they had written free, see if anybody wrote free. She didn't write anything. Free. Here's a booking. That's a booking. She's telling me I want free stuff, so I'm going to bring some friends. All right, so that's me or free. Now, then you flip over. You see, after watching me today, trying this product, hearing about my story. Oh, what was I going to say? I just went brain. Ugh. A, B, or C. Circle A, absolutely, I want to get started. I'd love to have a side hustle, love to make some great money. Let's get started today. Circle A. B, Michelle, buy me a cup of coffee. I have some very specific questions to ask you to see if this is a good fit for me. Circle B, we're going to have coffee or lunch. Or C, I would like to remain a full price paying customer. And then they circle that. That kind of lets you know what their interest level is. And I tell them, I buy you coffee. I sit down with you. I'm going to give you a free mascara. I'm going to give you a free lip gloss for your time. Because if they get away from that table and they didn't sign, the odds goes down that you're going to get them back on the phone. And so you give them a booking bonus. Okay. So that's my green card. And then I collect them and then I draw for another prize. And then I take them home and I follow up. So there you go. You like that idea? I can send you the hard copy. So, and you just never know the people that are going to circle A, because sometimes you've got your eye on somebody and you're missing out on the person who's actually interested. So, all right. Any questions?
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to actually teach on that too at mini seminars, so you guys will get to watch me. There's going to be 10 directors there. You're going to learn a lot, and I'm super excited for those of you who are coming. All right, any questions? We can close out, and I think we're good. Thank you guys for being on. I think I'll get to see most of you Friday night. All right, good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.